I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Counting like the four-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? And the video I'm bringing you today is my no proc Cyrodiil outnumbered Magicka Templar PvP build. That is not going to be the title of this video because that is way too long. But yeah, that's what this is. This is for Magicka Templar solo, small scale, outnumbered PvP in the CP campaigns. Now, I'm pretty confident this would work in no CP as well. You might have to adjust the recovery a little bit, do a couple different things. I'll go into those sorts of things for that avenue. This is just for no proc Cyrodiil, guys. If you start doing Battlegrounds, if you start going in IC, there are much better options in this build. This is just for the Cyrodiil fun stuff, in my opinion. So, I've done a lot of testing this patch. I've been playing PvP, the no proc stuff for 2.5 weeks now, and then a week and a half of the new campaign, or of the new Flames of Ambition, and I've had a lot of different testing, and this is what I've kind of ended up on. And yeah, let's dive into it. So I'm gonna go through the gear that I'm running. Keep in mind, guys, it all depends on the fights you're getting into. So what I get into isn't normally what other people get into, and so I'm gonna build a little bit differently. I play solo, playing a 2 or 3 man group, and so typically I'm fighting pretty severely outnumbered, so I'm going to build a little bit differently than somebody that's running in an 8 or 10 or 12 man group. Keep that in mind. If you're running with a few more people, or if you're running against smaller groups that aren't like severely outnumbering you, you can get away with a lot less than what I'm doing. So yeah, let's dive into it. As far as consumables go, I'm running Bewitched Sugar Skulls, Tri-Stat Food. You can use the purple stuff, that would work out okay. I'm running tripots. I have detect pots, tripots, detect pots, and I also have move pots. So move pots are quite nice. I'm toying around with a few different things here. Yeah, we'll dive into that in a little bit. Now, front bar. There's only 20 sets in the game, guys, or 15. There's not many. If you want to do damage, spinners and spriggans, no brainer. Like those are the ones you run. You run spinners or you run spriggans. I tried Mother Sorrow. I did want to try that out because everybody's running a lot lower crit resist, and getting up to like a 50% chance to do 40 or 50% more damage on a crit if a couple of those line up on like a very bursty build. I thought that maybe that would feel better. It was close. Honestly, Mother Sorrow was close on this type of spec. I'm not running Race Against Time. So I wasn't getting the burst there. I also wasn't running Shadow, so I think there's some room there to where Mother Sorrow could feel a little bit better. But for my type of setup, for the survival I was running, like the skills that I ended up having to slot, spinners just felt a little bit more comfortable. Now I will try Mother Sorrow on a Magblade, where I will be running Race Against Time, those sorts of things, and I have a feeling that it's going to feel a little bit better there. Then we can really compare spinners versus mothers. But yeah, I went with spinners, obviously. If spinners is getting sold out or it's way too expensive, you can go the crafted route. You can craft 5 Julianos. You can run that on the front bar. It's not that Julianos is bad, it's just that spinners is better. This will be the best set that you can get. I'm running a lightning staff. You can run a 2H maul if you want to run that. You miss out on your Ellie drain, so you'd have to run a frost staff back bar, which is not something I wanted to do. I just went with the lightning staff. Yeah, lightning staff buffs your AoE, sweeps are AoE, crescents AoE. Yeah. Back bar, we're running 2-piece critical riposte. Things have changed. During the no proc tests, I was running back bar like Death's Wind, the initial tests in Flames of Ambition, because your crit resist is already high. Most people, like, your crit resist was already over 3k, and so there's no point in doing this. Now, unless you build into crit resist, your crit resist is quite low. Like on my 800, I have 830 CP on PC, with 6 or 7 impen, I'm at like 2200 impen. So my impen was very, very low on that character. I didn't have the CP in order to be able to allocate it into the critical whatever resistance CP tree, and so back bar and critical riposte feels really good. Now there's a few different back bar options you can do. I will go through that as well, but yeah, we did a sturdy and defending. It's just the 2-piece. It's crafted. You get it in Velastris, I think. Lower left town, whatever the lower left town's name is. I'm pretty sure it's, yeah. Anyways, very nice. 414 critical resistance. This goes a lot further than Death's Wind. It goes a lot further than any other 2-piece you can get. Plus, it's crafted. So it's really nice. Now we're running 2 monster pieces. Now, Magplar does have 10% more crit damage. Like I said, a lot of people are running lower impen. I've been toying around with running 2 crit pieces. So I got Ice Heart and I have Slime Craw, both in light. This is a 4 light, 3 heavy build. They did change how all those weights work, so we'll dive into that also. All impen. So impen across the board. Now, if you guys don't want to run the crit and you just want more stats, you run like 1 Domi House, 1 Balor. Those are the traditional things to run, but I like that little extra crit damage because your crit heals come in, and so you heal for a little bit more. When you burst a little harder. So just having that extra little crit chance is quite nice. But yeah, if you want more pen, you can go 1-piece Scoria, you can go run 1-piece Domi House. I have 20k stamina already, so I didn't really feel like Domi was the best. If you don't like the crit pieces that I'm running, just run like 1 Balorg, 1 Scoria, or 1 Balorg, 1 Molag Kina. Like, both of those work out very well. So I'm messing with the crit for that reason. I wanted to bring a little bit of crit back. So yeah, that's why we're there. And then we're running Impreg. I am a stage 3 vampire for the Undeath passive. Impreg is quite nice. When you're fighting severely outnumbered, a lot of people are going to crit you. Magsorks are casting frags and curses from range and just melting health bars, and making sure you're not getting hit as hard with critical damage is nice. Now, this isn't the only option. There are obviously other options. You could go something like Beekeeper. I ran Beekeeper to some success on like Stamina Necromancer. Ran it to some success like on Stamina Nightblade. I liked Impreg with stage 3 more. So there are some downsides here. If you go stage 3 and you go Impreg, or if you go stage 3, it's 9% cost increase. So you have to build in a lot more sustain, which means your damage is going to go lower. It's going to be something you're going to have to toy around with. Now, if you don't want to get Impreg because it's expensive and everybody and their mother is looking to get it, just like all the other sets, like Spinners, Spriggans, like all of these sets are so rare right now that everything is expensive. So if it's not crafted, it's expensive. So if you don't want to do that, you can just craft like Fortified Brass, and then you didn't change your CP investment. And I'll dive into that as well. But I don't think you run 2 damage sets on a Magplar. If you guys have watched my videos for outnumbered PvP on a Magplar, you take most of the damage. Like, even if you're in a duo or trio, you get focus first. I always get focus first, and if I go down first and I'm providing the better off heals, then I'm letting my teammates down, so I'm building a little bit tankier. And so I found Impreg to be quite nice, but yeah, we're running 4 light, 3 heavy, and then we're running Spinners. I have 1 cost reduction, and I have 2 recoveries. And so yeah, pretty standard stuff. Like I said, I am a Breton, and I am, like I said, a stage 3 vampire. I got 42 points into magic, and I have 22 into health. I wanted to get to 30k health. Everybody's hitting so hard this patch, I wanted that window. You can have a little bit more if you want to, but you risk getting bursted. 30k was like that nice little sweet spot where I still had some nice damage. Still had some room to survive. So this is my back bar. 34k max Magicka, 30k health, 20k stam, 1500 magic recovery. This jumps up to over 2k, 2300 spell damage unbuffed. So if we switch to the front bar, 34, we have 2461 spell damage unbuffed, so that jumps up to about 3k. We have about 3k spell damage, which isn't bad. 23% spell crit, that'll jump up to like 38 with the 1 skill that we're running. I was bouncing other things around. Resistances aren't bad. Spell resist 28 on the front bar, 20k physical. It's not super easy to stack these, so most people are going to have 10, 20k pen, but critical resistance 3780, which is pretty valuable in my opinion. So I like the critical resist. I think it's very important. You see my pens at 1181, 811. That's before major breach, so I'm at 16k ish. Not bad. Atro Mundus, like I said, stage 3 vampire. Stage 3 vampire, you get 30% more damage mitigation as you get to lower health, but it's 9% increased cost to all of your abilities. And so there's a give take here for this kind of tanky. I normally take it because I do find it to be valuable. Some people don't like it. If you don't like it, don't run it. It's up to you. Yeah, let's dive into the skills real quick. These are just what I'm running. Puncturing Sweep, Toppling Charge. Now, this is a flex. You can either run Solar Barrage, or in this instance, Reflective Light is actually quite nice. I think Reflective Light needs a buff. I don't think Reflective Light is that good of a skill, but it gives you Major Prophecy. Major Prophecy is a nice amount of crit, and so because crit is a little bit more bursty this patch, stacking a little bit more crit is valuable. It does a little bit of damage. It's okay. It's not whatever. Radiant. Obviously, we're going to run a little bit of Radiant, Ellie Drain, Major Breach. We also get the Minor Magicka Steal, so we get the Magicka Return. Crescent Sweep. Now, if you don't want to run Crescent, you can run the Destro ult. I found Destro ult gives you a lot more pressure. I have the Storm specifically. You get a lot more finishing power. When I'm solo, I would prefer... This is going to sound weird. When I'm solo, I would prefer to run Eye of the Storm. It takes a little bit too long in this current patch in order to build up to it, but it is nice. Like you will have a lot more finishing power running Eye of Lightning, especially when you're running 30 to 40% crit chance with all the crit modifiers you have on a Magplar. You're going to have toppling charge. You're going to stay on top of people. People are going to die with this ultimate. Now, the problem is like when I'm playing in a group, I actually prefer Crescent Sweep a little bit more. A lot of my buddies are DKs, and so they leap on them and they get the CEC, and then I crescent them, and so we get the leap crescent combo. It's a lot cheaper, and so I can coordinate my ults a little bit more with them. But that, yeah, if you're running in a small group like that, then maybe you adjust crescent. They're both good. It's not that one's, well, honestly I think Destro ult's better, but it's a lot more expensive. So yeah, there's a give take there. Now backbar, spell wall. There's a lot of snipers. There's a lot of sorks. You might as well reflect that sork damage back on them. Spell wall is fantastic. Degen for our major sorcery buff, channeled focus for our Magicka recovery, elusive mist. This got a big change, but it's still 75% damage mitigation and snare removal. It is still insanely powerful. It is a really nice skill when it works. Problem is it doesn't always work. Sometimes you still get snared in it, sometimes you get pulled out due to BS, but I would still rather run it than race, because race against time, anytime I'm trying to escape and I have to block an incoming frag that hits me really hard, I stop. Like I stop. This, I can go into misform, I get the movement speed, I can still kite, I can maneuver, I can it allows me to reposition myself a lot easier than race against time would. Yeah, and so because of that, Mother Sorrow isn't as nice. Honor the Dead is in my opinion, for solo, it's the best morph. Small scale, it's okay. Extended Ritual. Now, yeah, that's the gear. Like I said, there's a few options for defensive things. There's a few options for offensive things. If you just want a set, like a crafted build and just away you go, run like Fortified Brass and Julianos. Just boom, done. Away you go. You're going to stack a little bit more in Impen and all those sorts of things. Now, CP tree. This is all foreign. We all know that these things are foreign. I don't know what's best. I'm just showing you what I'm running. So let's go into Staving on Death. We have 40 point. Now I have 1630 CP, guys. Okay, so this is going to be my best explanation for you. Depending on what CP you have, depends on what you can really run. Now, this CP tree, if you have lower CP, isn't as important as maxing out your passives. You see on the upper hand bar, you say I have 4 green circles, 4 blue circles, 4 red circles. In my opinion, I think that those 4 passives are more valuable than the other random unslottable passives. So I would fill those out first and then start fleshing out everything else. That's what I would do, and that's what I've been doing. Like I said, I have 830 CP on PC. I don't get to get away with some of the stuff that I get to get away with on Xbox. I'm in the same boat as you guys in a lot of situations. So yeah, the first thing, I would do Backstabber. Increase your critical damage done by 3% per stage against enemies you're flanking. Current bonus 15%. 15% more critical damage on anybody you're flanking, which is from their shoulder, around their back to their other shoulder. You actually flank people quite a bit in the game, and so the fact that you can have potentially 15% more critical damage, like if they're trying to run away from you and you zap them with a Radiant, and that Radiant crits, boom, done. Obviously, it's a flex. You can fit something else here. There are other things like 150 spell damage. Like this is 175 or 165 spell damage. If you want 165 spell damage, that's fine, but I think 15% more critical damage when you crit is more valuable. We have 38% crit chance, and so because we have 38%, I think this is going to carry a little bit harder. Just my opinion. If you don't agree with me, don't run it. It's simple as that. Fighting Finesse, increase your critical damage and critical healing done by 2% per stage. 10% more crit damage, fully maxed out. I would definitely equip this. The other one, Biting Aura, increase your damage done with area of effect attacks by 2% per stage, 10% damage done. I think this one's nice. Area of effect attacks, Crescent Sweep, your Destro Ultimate, your sweeps. The only thing it's not really buffing is your Toppling Charge and your Radiant. And so, yeah, that's a little disappointing, but your more damaging abilities are buffed by this. So yeah. The other tree that I did is I did Duelist Rebuff. Reduces your damage taken by single target attacks by 2% per stage. Single target attacks. So Nightblade's coming out of stealth, snipers, sorks, like crystal frags. I actually tried this. This is actually quite powerful. If you don't like these, you can do like, you can put points over here into Blessed. You can put points over here in your healing. I'm still trying to figure out stuff here myself, but this is just what I've been trying that I've enjoyed, what you saw in the clips. And then once I got into stuff that I actually want to do more of, increase your healing taken by 1% per stage. Elemental Aegis reduces the damage you take for magical attacks by 1%, so 3% damage reduction here, 4% damage reduction here. I have so much impen that I opted away from this. Now, you can run this in the impen. You can run this in impen, like, I keep talking about how impen carries, and then I'm not running it. So I get that, but I have over 4k impen, and I thought maybe just the flat damage mitigation would actually come in pretty valuable. Now, if you're not going to run impreg, I would take these points out, and I would do this first. I would do resilience first. The other problem is you have to add that on your champion bar to activate it. So this has to go on your champion bar if you want it. These are just passives. And so that's the other reason that it's not there, because I already have a ton of impen. I wanted a couple of other things. You can do this. This is max stamina per stage. Now into this tree, you want all the things. We got 1400 offensive penetration. Increase your chance to apply a magical status effect by 30% per stage. 100 weapon and spell damage to magical attacks. So yeah, pretty common stuff. Am I missing anything? No. And then the red tree. Survival Instincts. While afflicted with a status effect, your core combat skills cost 5% less per stage. I know I'm a magplar, and I know I'm purifying a lot, but when you're fighting severely outnumbered, you're almost always going to have a status effect on you. And so I was trying this out. It actually felt pretty good. And so yeah, if you don't like it, don't run it. I'm also running On Guard while under the effects of crowd control immunity. Increase the amount of damage you block by 2% per stage, so 10% block mitigation. Once again, get your passives first, and then build in everything else. Juggernaut, while under the effects of crowd control immunity, you take 2% less damage per stage. So every time you're CC'd and you CC break, you take 10% less damage. It should also work with the move pots, which is why we're running the move pots. So pretty common sense. Hardened, increase the duration of crowd control immunity by 3% per stage. It's 15%, so you only get like another second on your CC immunity, but you get a couple seconds on your potion for the 10% damage mitigation. So I'm running those. Yeah, if you're not going to run a move pots because you find you can't sustain the stamina, like you're running a slightly different build, there are other options. You could run something like Bastion is actually quite nice. You could increase the effectiveness of your damage shields and damage against shielded enemies by 3% per stage. So this is 15% more damage against shielded enemies. If everybody and their mother is a Magsork, why wouldn't you run this if you're having a hard time killing them? So take off one of the other things, you could do that. If you weren't a stage 3 vampire, Strategic Reserve is quite nice. Restore 300 magicka per stage whenever you kill an enemy. I don't know about that one. I don't know. So that's 1500 every time you kill an enemy. That I don't think that one's super great. You could also go back to like Unchained. I'm trying to remember the other ones. Whenever you're affected by a disabling effect, you automatically break free for no cost. After using this effect, you become winded and cannot trigger this effect. So this actually turns out to a lot of stamina sustain. Breaking free for no cost is actually a lot of stamina sustain. You could absolutely run that and you wouldn't have a problem with it. Yeah, there's a few options here, but those are the ones that I'm running. And then once you do that, You flesh out your other passives, increase the amount of damage you can block. So 6% block mitigation right here. Reduce the cost to block by 20. So we're on sword and board, so we're going to be block casting a lot. Increase your movement speed when sprinting. Occasionally we're going to sprint, reduce the cost of sprint. You just throw points in kind of everywhere. Get your health bonuses. Yeah, you just look and see what you think is the most. Now, like I said, I don't know everything in the CP tree. And so there's, yeah, I might switch this later, but that's where I'm starting. And it's worked out pretty well. For the green tree, there's not a ton here. This is more overland PvE stuff, but I'd rationer. Adds 10 minutes to the duration of any eaten food or drink per stage. Steed's Blessing, increase your out of combat movement speed by 0.4% per stage. So you get 20% more movement speed out of combat with this, which is extremely valuable. And I had enough CP to get up into here. Increase your mount speed by 2% per stage, so 10% more mount speed. And then I also have this, War Mount. Improves your mastery with mounts, removing all amount stamina costs outside of combat. You don't necessarily need that one. I just wanted to be able to sprint endlessly on some of my horses that don't have full mount speed, mount stamina. There just aren't a ton of options here. So you could use this one whenever you use a potion or poison. You have a 10% chance to not consume it. If you want to, if you're a little bit cheaper, you know, a little bit lighter in the purse, you could absolutely run this. It's 75 points though, so it's quite the investment. That's why I went up that way. Yeah, that's my CP. Not much else to talk about there, but I don't want to just show you my build. I also want to try to provide you guys options for the stuff that you're getting into. So if you're doing more of an organized ball group style thing and I'm running this and you're like, wow, I don't need that kind of tankiness. Well, hopefully I gave you some options. Hopefully I told you what you can kind of get rid of so that you can build in a little bit more damage if you so choose. There's a few different ways to build. Yeah. If you guys have any questions outside of this, just let me know. Yeah, this is going to be my build for the Magplar. That's going to be the end of this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please provide in the section below and I will do my best to answer it. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.
Who taught you how to do that?
No one.